So, used to hang out at a bar called Scarlett O'Hara's in Hartford.
Wow.
Many years ago. And on any given night, you would hear proclamations and resignations and all sorts of excuses. Here's 3 of them. My boss came up to me as I went to go. Billy, you're always late, as you well know. Come in tomorrow at 8:45. You'll be out of a job unless you're on time. So I went to the pub just to have me one beer, and I told my friends all about my fear. Then I said my goodbyes and I headed for the door, when my old friend Jimmy said, let's have one more. Johnny McCorkey bought the first round, but I said, when I'm done, I'll be homeward bound. We toasted our health, and then pretty soon, we'd been drinking all night, and it was noon. So I rolled into work at 3:15, and my boss was standing there looking at me. This had better be good, he said. Let's hear your news. It was just at that moment when I puked on his shoes. This time I learned my lesson, and I learned it well. How can I get to heaven when I am stuck in hell? No more whiskey all alone, no more boozing with a friend. As God is my witness, I'll never drink again. The next day I was sitting at a pub I enjoyed. I'd been there all day, now that I was unemployed, when in walks this girl, a very pretty thing, such a beautiful face, I could hear angels sing. She sat next to me, and I bought her a beer, and she grabbed my hand and said, let's get out of here. We went back to her place. It wasn't very far. 'Twas a tiny apartment with a very well-stocked bar. We drained several bottles and then hit the sheets. Such a night of passion and acrobatic feats. She kept the lights low, but never really undressed. But 3 hours later, we were both quite impressed. We woke the next morning to the light of day. She said, I've got to get going now. Best be on your way. It was just like a movie, us lying there in bed. But when she opened her robe, it was the crying game instead. This time I learned my lesson, and I learned it well. How can I get to heaven when I am stuck in hell?
Hey, hey,
no
hey!
more drinking all alone, no more boozing with a friend. As God is my witness, I'll never drink again. Later, I met the perfect girl to marry. We loved each other so much, but her father was scary. I knew when we met that he hated my guts. Instead of shaking my hand, he kicked me in the nuts. So I tried to win him over for the better part of a year, when he finally agreed to let me buy him a beer. So we went to the pub to talk it all out, but half a glass into it, he began to shout. He insulted the mothers of every man there. I told him he but he didn't care. He threw a few punches and then gathered steam as he tried to take on an entire rugby team. We awoke the next morning in a darkened jail. My fiancée came down to pay our bail. I couldn't see her dad, but when the guard flicked the switch, we both saw her father had become someone's bitch. I learned my lesson, and I learned it well. How can I get to heaven when I am stuck in hell? No more whiskey all alone, no more boozing with a friend. As God is my witness, I'll never drink again. I learned my lesson, and I learned it well. How can I get to heaven when I am stuck in hell? No more whiskey all alone, no more boozing with a friend. As God is my witness, I'll never drink again. As God is my witness, I'll never drink again. As God is my witness, I'll never drink again. Thank you very much. That's a good one.